Welcome to my video. I appreciate you coming back. Today we will be looking at unshackling your true self. This means we will be looking at breaking free, setting boundaries, and rediscovering our worth. Well, welcome. I want you to follow me down this journey. Picture this. You emerge from the shadows of your past stronger than ever. In our cultivating video, you will unveil the art of liberation. This will be happening by escaping manipulation's grip, crafting unassailable boundaries, and rekindling the flame of self-worth. Why don't you join me on this journey of resiliency, where we will use real stories and practical steps to converge and guide you to your true future, which is defined by empowerment and self-discovery. Your path for reclaiming your life starts here. Manipulation is a tactic used by some people to control others. It is difficult to identify, but recognizing the signs can not only protect your self-esteem, but also your sanity. I want to give you some insight on some of the tactics of emotional manipulation, and I want to give you some real-life examples so you can be able to apply them to something that may have occurred in your life. Let's look at some examples of manipulation. There's an emotional manipulator. This person often manipulates by altering reality. Right? They tell us lies, they make misstatements to confuse you, you're all over the place, you don't know where to go, what's up, is down, you just don't know. They just outright fib. They often exaggerate events to make it seem like they were so vulnerable. Oh babe, this happened. Don't underestimate them, because this role in conflict that they had is only there to gain your sympathy. Now let's look at a psychological manipulation. A psychological manipulation often refers to words, omissions, and actions. These are attempts to control how another person feels, behaves, and thinks. They often affect their perspective of themselves, the world in general, and the relationship. Please understand that emotional manipulation undermines close relationships. It often makes their victims feel powerless, confused, and frustrated. Many people manipulate others from time to time, but often without intending to. But there are some folks that just outright want to do it because they need to do it, because that's how they get ahead. Nearly everybody gets manipulated at some point. But when you set clear boundaries and you understand the impact of this emotional manipulation and try to reduce it, some of the empowerment of self-awareness is where we're going to take our next step, right? Being able to be self-aware so we can set those boundaries is just as important. So the first thing we want to talk about is self-reflection and these techniques to identify manipulation patterns. Let's look at empowering self-awareness by looking at self-reflecting techniques. Helps you to identify manipulative powers or manipulation patterns. Let's look at empowering self-awareness. This self-reflection technique is there to help you identify manipulations patterns. When you're able to identify manipulations patterns, you're able to gain some clarity, and the clarity will allow you to be able to focus more on what your emotions are and what your needs are. So then you're not falling for the okie doke, as some may say, and only focusing on what the other needs. Another one is by gaining clarity of what your emotions are and your needs are, you're able to take steps to regain control. Ultimately, what the manipulator wants is control over your life, control over what your actions are and your behaviors, and most likely things that they can benefit from, which is unfortunate. But when we learn to be able to identify some of these tactics, such as love bombing and being gaslit, we're able to reflect and say, no more. Not no more. We can't do this anymore. So love bombing. A lot of folks are love bombed, right? You get with this person, things are going great, they're being just perfect, right? There's no flaw, which is unbelievable. Who is perfect without any flaws? I want to say nobody. And I think you would agree. But usually when you're being love bombed, everything's great. You're getting all the affirmations. You're getting all the compliments. Oh, I love you, babe. There's nobody else greater than you. You're being catered to. The whole while it's a form of manipulation to get you in their grips, so then you can't move, you can't focus, and you're stuck. Or at least you feel stuck. One way we are going to get past that is you being able to have strategies and gain these strategies to become more self-aware and protect yourself from the manipulation. Just know that it's not your fault. Yes, you may have fallen for it, but that doesn't mean you got to keep falling for it. That means you get to, at this point, move forward and say, no more. I am done. So what does that look like? That looks like you being able to say, I deserve better. I deserve more. So we're going to talk about boundaries now, and how important boundaries are to our mental wellness and our mental overall well-being. One thing we got to be able to focus on is understanding how blurred are our boundaries that we have in place now, and how did they contribute to the emotional abuse. By letting our guard down, right? Not realizing the power of what boundaries look like. Now I want to take some time to focus on the power of boundaries. Boundaries are limits that we place on people and areas of our lives, including work, relationship, personal space, your belongings, things of that nature. These are essential. These boundaries are essential for our mental well-being, overall protecting ourselves from abuse, any forms of abuse, right? I want you to realize that there are some people that don't understand the importance of boundaries. But when we understand the importance of boundaries, then we're able to use it as a shield. So having healthy boundaries is essential to feeling healthy and being a person that enjoys healthy relationships. When you have healthy boundaries, it allows you to assert when you're okay and when you're not okay. So when we have personal boundaries that are firmly rooted in knowledge, that you're not responsible for others' feelings only before your own, you know that someone cannot make you feel like a fool or make you feel a certain way. That you are able to feel whatever you need to feel because you are self-aware. And you're going to promote that self-awareness by continuing to affirm those boundaries. When we don't have solid boundaries, we often may feel resentful, even emotionally drained, and sometimes exhausted, meaning possibly suffering from anxiety, depression, often being irritable, not really able to retain relationships with family and friends that have nothing really to do with what's going on within your relationship. I want you to also understand that blurred boundaries contribute to emotional abuse, meaning that when you're in a toxic relationship and you don't have firm boundaries, this person is going to make you cause yourself to question, is this realistic? Is this reality? Am I okay? Am I not okay? Does this really go against what my morals are, my values? You just kind of like go along with whatever they put out there. And that's not fair. So that's why I'm focusing on boundaries, because boundaries play a key part in you being able to walk away feeling whole and understanding what your true self-worth is. There's a lot of people out there that have these blurred boundaries, and you often let your guard down because you feel like that's communicating love. I'm here to say that's not communicating love. That's allowing you to be taken advantage of. And I know it does not feel good. There's no way that can feel good. But this is why we're going to focus on you developing that and then empowering your self-worth, because you deserve it. You deserve more than what you have been receiving. And that's why I'm covering this stuff, because I want to be able to help folks that need that help. I want to give people that guidance. So when we set healthy boundaries and we apply it to our everyday experiences, we protect our mental wellness and our well-being. This boosts our self-esteem. It prevents us harming others and people harming us. It allows us not to feel self-doubt, sadness, or shame because we allow someone to play us or to mistreat us. Overall, I want you to identify what your identity is outside of being in a relationship. right? That it plays a key part in you being able to be self-aware and understand your true value, your true worth. No one deserves to be treated like that. And there's often folks out there that pray and hope that we stay in a weak state, that we allow them to do the things that they do to us, right?
Oh, baby, don't worry. Everything's all good. Oh, no, it ain't like that. You reading too much into it. No, you don't need to see my phone.
All those things play part in you feeling like, what?
Okay, I have to do this because he loves me. Or I have to do this for him to stay.
Most times they're not staying anyway. They already been checked out. But it's like, what do you do? What do you hold on to? What do you allow to be there so you can continue to feel comfortable within your skin to know that you are better without? Takes time to get there, I know. But you are on your way. That's why we're talking. Another way I want you guys to cover, another thing that I want to cover is you being able to communicate your boundary to others. So one thing I want you to think about is what your values are and what your beliefs are. This will allow you to identify what's important to you and what isn't. And then you can apply it to specific situations, like being played, being made a fool of, gaslighting, lying all the time, right? The sky is purple and you know it's blue, right? You are being able to pick up on those social cues and then realize, okay, I got to put some boundaries in place because this person is obviously going to take advantage of my kindness, right? Have you ever heard that saying, take my kindness for weakness? No more. You now get to set that foundation of, I ain't allowing that to fly no more. We're done. It's over. And then you're able to pull yourself through this and say, I am worth more. This is what my values are. I'm strong. I'm liberated. I don't need someone who does not recognize who I am, the worth I have, the truth I have. Right? You want someone that's going to be able to recognize what your true value is and allow that to complement them. Not someone who's wanting to wear you as some type of form of accomplishment and then use all of your benefits, all your resources for them. And they never accomplish anything other than how to play mind games. And you know when someone's playing mind games. And if you don't, we can talk about that more. I want you to comment in the comment area. Yeah, more on mind games. And we can talk about it. I have no problem with bringing you guys insight and information for you to be stronger. Because you deserve that. And that's what we're going to focus on. Another way for you to be able to communicate what your boundaries are is using I statements, right? I statements allow you to express what your feelings are, your needs, and avoid being critical or blaming. I statements about our feelings and our needs, it avoids you having to get into the conflict of being critical, right? Or blaming. A lot of times people want to take the defense on, oh, you're blaming me, you're always saying this. But if you use I statements, it kind of knocks that out. It kind of cancels that out. It's over now. We're not talking about it. What you do is you say, I feel hurt when you're not caring. I feel pain when you take off, right? You're able to kind of put some distinguishes in there. And as you see, I statements start with I, then you put a feeling, felt this way when you. And at that point, it's kind of hard for a person to get on the defense because then they have to address the feeling, not so much the situation. And you may find a manipulator try to focus on the situation. Then you are able to say, this person did not hear anything I just said I felt. He only focused on why you always focusing on that or why you always saying this. Then that should be able to let you see that this person ain't going to change. Now, some people just don't know how to address that. And if this is a new relationship, I don't want you to just assume that they're there. Now, in some stances or some situations, especially in new relationships or upcoming relationships, you may have to adjust your boundaries because no two people are carbon copies of each other. Everyone's not monolithic. Some folks are going to be able to understand and change quickly and others can't. And if this is new and you're determined now to figure out if this person is worthy of your time, It may mean that you have to adjust your boundaries. You still be firm, you still let them know what you want and what your limitations are, but then you do know that you have to change in some aspects to give this person a chance to really show up there. How do you respond when somebody does not respect you or respect your boundaries? Some folks would say just outright scream and yell. I would say no, I wouldn't scream and yell. I would use an I statement stating what my limitations are, what I observe and how I'm feeling about it, and then I would probably just go to a different direction. Meaning call me later when you get that together, and by the time they call me later and they got it together, I done watch some more videos, I done allow myself to get educated, and I'm moving forward. That's how they go. Let's talk about some common misconceptions about setting boundaries. Some common misconceptions about setting boundaries is boundaries are selfish. A lot of people think that they get in the way. But in reality, when you set boundaries, they are true to your authentic needs, and expressing them clearly. By setting boundaries is telling someone what you want to do and what not to do. And there is no one boundary that fits all, as I mentioned earlier. Boundaries are unique to each individual. We have our own likes and dislikes, and they can change depending on situation and relationship. So boundaries you may have for a spouse, someone that you're interested in intimately or romantically, is going to be different from someone that you love, like a sister or cousin or a best friend. Some people believe that setting boundaries is aggressive, selfish, or something that you have to apologize for. So when you're able to set boundaries firmly, communicate them in a more healthy, compassionate way, some people believe that boundaries isolate them from others. And this often causes them not to want to set boundaries. But I want you to understand that boundaries are there because it helps you build stronger, more genuine relationships. And this is often promoted by trust and transparency. Some believe boundaries push folks away. And I'm here to let you know that boundaries are to help people function without stepping on your toes or you stepping on their toes. And this is why it's important for those things to be developed. Lastly, we want to talk about establishing what your limits are. And that's usually done by clear and assertive boundaries, right? But we want to be able to focus on how it allows you to overcome guilt and fear, right? When we look at what we just talked about, some of those boundary myths and understanding our self-worth. So when you understand your self-worth, you're able to allow yourself to take practical steps to be assertive in inserting your boundaries. So when you identify your boundaries, you start to identify what you want and what you're comfortable with. Then you communicate them using I statements. I feel uncomfortable when, or I need you. And being consistent is key, because when it comes down to setting boundaries, being clear and direct in your communication is going to allow you to be very, 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 very clear that you're not going to be mistreated. Now that we've drawn this journey to a close, remember this: you have the power from within to break free from manipulation's chains, to define your boundaries and rekindle that brilliant flame of your self-worth. Your story is one of resiliency, strength, and transformation. Now armed with knowledge and determination, step forth into your future, where your authentic self will shine better and brighter than ever before. This is not the end. It is the beginning of your triumphant journey towards a life reclaimed. Embrace it, believe in yourself, and watch your world transform. You're worth every incredible step, and I'm happy to have joined you on it. Now that this video has come to an end, I ask that you please subscribe, hit the bell so you know every time I upload videos, and give it a thumbs up so folks on YouTube will know, like you do, that I'm here. I do appreciate your time, and join me again. I'll be back next week. Take care.